Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian Hussar, and this is where I talk about my passions of the Beatles, music, movies, and musical theater. I make my videos when I can, and my children allow me. If you like what you see, please click subscribe. If you like this video, please give me a big old thumbs up. Back in 1987, you had Past Masters Volume 1 and Past Masters Volume 2. They issued them as two separate CDs, which I didn't quite like. What Past Masters was, here's the 2009 CD where they combined both Past Masters 1 and Past Masters 2, and here's my vinyl copy of that. This is the 2012 reissue of that. What Past Masters did, and I think this was incredibly smart, it took all of the songs that didn't appear on the UK albums, because when the 87 CDs came out, we went to the Beatles approved UK releases. But it contains all of the songs that didn't appear on those UK albums, so it includes all of their singles and B-sides, as well as the EP of Long Tall Sally, which was, with the exception of Magical Mystery Tour, the one EP that the Beatles conceived of as an EP. A song that was specifically done for the American market, a cover of Larry Williams' Bad Boy, and of course another anomaly which was only for the UK, the World Wildlife Federation, the version that they specifically mixed for that of across the universe. Included all of those songs in two nice packages, as well as the German "She liebt dich" and "Komm Gimme Deine Hand." So if you had the UK releases plus these two, and now just the double CD, you have everything the Beatles ever released publicly. In 2009, if you bought the mono CD box set, you got the Beatles Mono Masters. Pretty much the exact same concept, except it includes everything the Beatles mixed for mono. So every mono mix the Beatles included that wasn't on an album. So Past Masters was a great release. And then they surprised us with Live at the BBC. This is my original edition that came out. It was great seeing the Apple again. The 2013 remastered edition, which is a must-have. If you own the 94, and I did a review of this back in the day, back when I started my channel, you need to upgrade to this, because a lot of things that they've added that weren't on the original release. This is the vinyl copy of that. Now this came out on vinyl back in the day as well, but they squashed it all into two albums. This is triple vinyl. And then in 2013 they issued a sequel, On Air, Live at the BBC Volume 2. Don't we find it strange that the Rolling Stones just finally issued their BBC sessions and they've called it On Air as well? And again, a triple vinyl. If you want to know my thoughts on the reissues, I talk about it in an earlier video, but highly recommended. We got the anthologies. Thanksgiving of '95, Anthology 1. Spring of '96, Anthology 2. And early fall, I believe, late summer of '96, Anthology 3. Must-haves. I don't have any issues with these other than the fact that they need to do a reissue. They need to remaster them. Yellow Submarine, just like this year, was re-released in the fall of '99. After being out of print for so long, it was first time released on DVD and re-released on VHS, and it had a theatrical run again, and they remixed it for 5.1. And then you got the Yellow Submarine song track. Now this is the reissue that came out, I believe, in 2012, 2013, because my original one got damaged by my oldest son, who loves Yellow Submarine. I love the artwork in here. There is no liner notes. No liner notes. But you got this cool collage design of scenes from the movie. I like this because it reminds me of the compilations that came out in the 70s with no liner notes, but issuing it as sort of new Beatle product. I like the remixing on this. Now, is it essential to get? Well, maybe not, but I like the remixing job they did on this. They did it with a much more modern sound, a lot more centered drums. They weren't doing what Giles did with the 2017 stereo edition of Sgt. Pepper, which was try and remix it the way the Beatles would have if they were there and they wanted to concentrate on a stereo mix. And then, 2000, the Beatles' One Collection. 27 #1 hits. Now this is the remixed edition that came out in 2015. This was the 1+ collection. I like the fact that you have all the historical information about the #1s, and you have the sleeves. Interesting time here. This was the fall of 2000, and the Beatles and the Backstreet Boys were flopping #1 spots. This was #1, then Backstreet Boys Black and Blue, I believe it was called, was #1. So the Beatles were going up against a boy band. And I think with this release, they were trying to show that the Beatles were the first, dare I say it, boy band. I don't like that comparison. This is my vinyl copy of the remixed edition that came out in 2015. It's got a lot of swag in here. It's got a poster and 4 separate photos of the Richard Avedon psychedelic pictures there. Interesting thing about the 1+ collection, it was a trend-setting deal that year because there was a big hit that Christmas. So Christmas of 2001, Pink Floyd finally decided to put together a greatest hits package, which they've never done, and you had Echoes, the very best of Pink Floyd. It was a big hit, and they sequenced it like a Pink Floyd concept album where everything is cross-faded. And then the following year, another big one, you know. The Beatles are trendsetters, man. Elvis, 30 #1s, was the big hit in 2002. Big hit, and they went and remixed them, and that's a different story. But just to prove the Beatles are trendsetters, man. A #1s collection, and then everybody's got to do a #1 collection. Christmas of 2003, and it was talked about there was going to be a DVD release for the first time in a long time. They were going to re-release the Let It Be movie with bonus stuff and all of that, and in conjunction there was going to be a new CD. Well, we didn't get the DVD release, but we did get Let It Be Naked. I have never gotten this on vinyl. I think this is a missed opportunity. They could have done so much more other than going and remixing the Let It Be stuff. It was not so much taking out Phil Spector's string section, but it was using alternate takes where they could, splicing and dicing to make a proper Beatles album of the Let It Be stuff without the strings. It's fascinating. I would have liked some more stuff, maybe some outtakes, maybe some bonus stuff. It made no sense to just release a bare bones edition of that stuff without a DVD release of the film. 2006, the Cirque du Soleil show The Beatles' Love premieres in Vegas. And we heard what George Martin and Giles Martin had done. They went and mashed up, collaged everything together, put it in surround sound. All the good stuff. Now, I don't mind when people mess with Beatles stuff. There are 2 DJs who play the fest for Beatle fans. I think it's DJ Sun King and Lady Madonna, I think they call themselves, but they do a lot of remixes, live remixes of Beatles stuff, and I love when stuff like that is done and it's done with care. And here it was done in-house. And I've seen The Love Show twice. I saw it in 2009, and then I saw the new upgrades that they made to it this past summer, 2017. This is the deluxe CD DVD audio one. The thing is, this was conceived for 5.1, and if you haven't heard this in 5.1, you're missing out. If you haven't heard this in surround sound, you are missing out. The 5.1 surround sound is the way to go, and the 5.1 mix is longer. This is the recently issued vinyl edition of the album. But I loved what they did with the mashing up and the remixing. It's almost like it's the ultimate Beatles medley. And when you see it in the show, it's an audio-visual experience. And it works. So if if you were a naysayer of the Love album, when you see it with the show, it's a beautiful assault on the senses. 2015, I already said they went and remixed, Giles Martin went and remixed the One collection, but they issued One Plus. 2 Blu-rays and a CD, or 2 DVDs and a CD, or just the CD. Now, I did a review of this. You have the 27 #1 hits on CD, plus the promo films, or things they did in place of it, and plus you get 23 additional promo films and other songs, like 2 additional versions of Day Tripper, another version of We Can Work It Out where John gets Paul to crack up. What I wish they would have done was issued a CD of the remixed editions of the Plus stuff. I wish they could have done that. It would have been a great package to do that. That's a missed opportunity that they had with this. Had 2 CDs and 2 Blu-rays. Why not? Basically, overall, the first half up to the anthologies, you had some great stuff that I did not think there was a misstep there. The others are kind of mixed. I like Yellow Submarine Song Track. Is it necessary? I don't know. I liked it. One Plus with all of the #1s. 1 or 1 Plus, whichever one. Okay, that is definitely for casual fan, but it doesn't really delve into A Day in the Life and any of that stuff. It's just the #1 hits. But it was a trendsetter. Let It Be Naked, I feel, is totally unnecessary. Now, Love, I highly recommend that for the reasons that I stated. So that is it for this edition. Thank you all. Thank you for some new subscribers I got. And I make my videos when I can, when my children allow me. And until we meet again.